One of the things that we were talking about on the break is what things really mean. And, we continue to talk about the price of healthcare, and we do. It is significant. But the true number one thing concerned about healthcare is the access to healthcare, especially in rural areas, especially because we are in a rural area.
And we are lucky that we have Lake Regional Hospital. But most rural areas have lost their hospitals and their clinics
we are very lucky.
dying.
It's an incredible hospital. I've been there a couple of times. But I think one of the things that's interesting is that I think most of us aren't, the healthcare industry is so complex. It's so hard and we all have opinions about it, but how do you really understand it? And I think one of the things that AI has helped me do is to understand what is being done about it, who's doing what. And so you can look real time at Congress and who's voting for what. And that is really important to me personally is, people talk back and forth about all these things. I want to see the work. I actually want to see who is voting for what, who is not voting for certain things, what is the legislation. So you can take the legislation, put it into AI and interact with it and ask it questions. I always say, explain this to me like I'm 5 years old, which is how I actually talk to my husband too. Explain this to me like I'm 5. Yes. But really, because these things are too complex for me. And so it will explain to me exactly what this is meant. And of course, I have to tell it, I don't want biases. I want just be very, straightforward and tell me what the Republicans are trying to do. Tell me what the Democrats are trying to do. And what I realized after looking at all this stuff, regardless of how you feel about either, issue, who is doing the work? And to me, as a business owner, I feel like it has always been the Democrats who are saying, let me give you health care. Even if it's socialized medicine, even if it's communism, we don't have to build it the way they tell us to build it. We can build it any way we want. We are very innovative, smart people. It doesn't have to be like Canada, right? It can be any way we want it to be.
But I'm going to eliminate the word communism out of there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever the other side, the right side says it is. What I'm saying is that we are innovative people. We could build whatever, but
kind of health system that we want and would serve us better.
But as a business owner, I'm very much don't tell me what the problems are.
I would put communism.
Well, I'm just reminding you. Remember what the other side says sometimes, but I'm sure your other business owners would agree. Don't bring me a problem, bring me a solution, right? I don't always agree with the solution, but at least try and make some progress towards a solution. That's what I want to see from people.
So I'd like to talk about some of the problems with AI because people are worried about surveillance.
Oh, that's a very serious issue.
And that's something that we need regulation on. I don't think any of us want to be surveyed by our government or by companies or whatever it is. We don't want to be manipulated by AI with false, information. Yep. And how do we tell what's real, what is AI, or what's AI that's been generated from one side or the other? We want to have a true basis for what we are seeing and hearing. There are facial recognition tools that AI has so that when you walk through the airport, they can recognize if you, were involved in a crime. But, it may also indicate that you were at a protest. And so I don't think any of us want to be tagged with all of that. And that's kind of where I actually like Ike Skelton's idea of the license plate pictures. But, he had to act within the law, and he didn't. But I think there were some other things.
How do you put the genie back in the bottle? I think we have made a big loop, and we're back to the first segment. When you look at those things, I don't think the surveillance things are going away.
Well, they've been here for so long anyway.
I don't think they're going. The question is not do we have them or not. That has already been decided.
Right.
The question is, how do you control those?
What do you do with the information once you have it?
I think one of the things is really important. So your listeners, if they can remember and look up Palantir, 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 and look up Alex Karp, those are very, very serious companies that have billion-dollar contracts with many governments across the world. I think the EU is just separated from them. I'm not sure. I'd have to go look on AI and see. No, actually just look and see if that's still correct. But they have a very big contract with our government, and this isn't a surveillance that is unlike anything else. And I think we can all agree that we've all been being surveilled pretty much. Our phones are like a walking tracker, right? We all know that.
Oh, yeah. All you got to do is...
Yeah.
But we seem to be okay with it when it comes to Facebook. We seem to be okay with it with things that we like.
Right.
Which is human nature. I'm not bad-mouthing. I'm just telling you that's...
Because most people feel like, well, if I'm not doing anything wrong, it doesn't matter. But the problem is that this is where I think I think understanding legislation is so important, because when you have anybody who's in power saying making very ambiguous rules that these certain people like Antifa, without putting a specific, what is Antifa? Now, I don't have a problem with saying Antifa is a terrorist, but what is Antifa? Like, explain it to people so we don't have to be, it's not ambiguous to people, because that can be a very large group of people. So what if a bunch of Republicans all of a sudden are pissed off that AI came and took their jobs and they want to go out and protest because they're angry?
We don't do that.
Of course, never. I've never saw anything on January 6th. That wasn't you at all. But anyway, but if they want to protest now, they could be considered against the government. So it needs to be very specific when we're making legislation about the American people, about any people, but really about the American people is what we're talking about. And that's where we need to be asking our politicians to be thoughtful and specific and clear about their intent. When they're not, we should be curious. We should be concerned.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
If I get any better, I'm going to stop and have a party.
All right. And
Well, hey, make sure you call me. Hey, and don't invite them. What you got?
Well, you kind of touched on a nerve. Someone did. The AI thing, it's here. We're going to have to live with it. Somebody needs to put control to it. Like you said, we need to kind of put the genie back in the box. Mm-hmm. I think it needs to be limited. But that's never going to happen, especially with the new supercomputers and super quantum, whatever it is, that's out there that can do a regular computer's work in 10 seconds. It take it 127,000 years to do the same thing. But as far as, like the young lady said, protesting, that is a given right in the United States. That's a constitutional right in the United States. And to be able to gather peacefully and protest, the thing is that like on January 6th, no one really wants to touch the subject. I will, because I really don't care what people think. When you look at January 6th, nothing got out of sorts until you had one or two actors that decided to do something stupid. The walk down to the Capitol was absolutely peaceful. Standing there on the steps was peaceful. Trump did not say go down and loot and cause trouble and everything else. Let's just show them who we are, basically. Just like Martin Luther King. He wasn't out there to do violence, unlike Malcolm X.
Matt Loganville from Versailles, it was a J6, and I interviewed him, and I truly enjoyed it. I appreciate him coming in. Just a normal guy like us, works, raises his family. I asked him point blank, I go, Matt, what did you go in the Capitol for? And he looked at me and he said, they opened the door and said, come in.
Because I could.
Yeah, because they said, come in. And so there were some odd things, I believe, happened during that day. I'd like to know why there was over 200 FBI agents, CIA people in the crowd. I would like to know. I don't think it was our best moment when we followed those people in there, but I certainly don't think it was an upfront situation.
So one of the things that we were talking about with this is that, from my standpoint, we're never going to know anything, because it's just beyond any imagination if there was like 200 FBIs, who really knows, right? But we sit around and we talk about it. My feeling is, was it right? Was it wrong? I don't know. I'm not here to judge that. My question is that why do we see as a society things so differently? It's so interesting to me how we're such in informational bubbles that one side sees a riot and another one sees a peaceful day. And my question has been to people that are in my life that are Republican is, can we sit down and look at this together? And can you please share with me what I'm not seeing? Because I'm very open to seeing something different. But nobody has ever been willing to sit with me and watch it and explain to me what I'm seeing. Because between everybody here, I personally would not like to be right. I actually would like to be wrong. Politics should be something that I don't have to think about every day. I'm so sick of thinking about politics that it's annoying, right? And I would be very happy if somebody could show me where I'm seeing this wrong, right? But nobody's been willing to do that. If you'd like to do that, sir, I would love to sit down with you and you show me how we're seeing something completely different.
I can do that.
Great.
The other thing is I would like to see how the Democrats are posting up there on the streets, no kings, no kings, no kings, and other things, and ICE. I have a job to do, and when I tell my guys to go do a job, if something fails, that's on me. If I tell them to go do something and it fails, that is 100% on me. Okay? And this is where so many people, I don't care if it's the right or the left, no one wants to take credit for something that went wrong. Everybody wants to play the blame game. And I'm sick and tired of it. This healthcare problem that we have in the United States could be solved very simply. Same with the problem with the overuse of welfare and all these other things. It can be solved very easily. We could take 90% of the people off of welfare that really don't deserve it very, very simply. Same with food stamps. It's run amok because, I'm sorry, the Democrats have said, let us feed you. Let us make you independent on the government. Instead of going out, getting a job, doing the job, grabbing a paycheck. I just got told by one of my employees that if he ain't making $20 an hour, he basically can't live. Well, guess what? You don't deserve $20 an hour. You don't do the work of a $20 an hour employee. Why would I pay you $20 an hour just to show up and be on your phone?
Well, I think one of the things
on the phone
that he's saying is that we agree on is that these problems are not that difficult to solve. But I think the challenge comes is that we have to take the step to look at it objectively and really understand the data and then try to solve the problem. But when you say it's not difficult to solve and then start saying the Democrats, that's where everything I think falls apart for people. And if we can't get past that one piece and just say, let's just figure out what the very mechanics of it is, the very unemotional, they did this, they did that, take it out of it. Let's figure out what's going on, use just basic numbers, very binary, very zeros and ones, very boring. And then, if we want to put our emotion into it, great, afterwards. But let's understand the mechanics of what's happening, because what I think is happening is that people, okay, I'll say both sides, which I don't normally like to do, but people are being manipulated at a higher level that we even fully understand. And I think that somebody benefits from that. And those are the questions I believe we should be asking.
And who benefits?
Answer me this, please. Why did we have to pass the Obamacare when Pelosi said, hey, let's pass and see what's in the bill?
Mistake on her part.
Well, I don't know, but let me ask you this. Why didn't Republicans who had 20 years have a plan now? And why did they not work with the Democrats to get what they needed to get for their constituents? Why didn't they fight like hell to get what they needed for their constituents? Just riddle me that.
Okay. And
I'm going to have to take a break.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Herb, you still on there?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Go ahead, Herb.
Well, hi,
Dear
Herb.
guest, are you familiar with Wendy Fritz?
No.
She's a member of the Lake Federation of Democrats.
Oh, okay. I should be because I'm a member of that too.
Oh boy.
Okay, she posted something a week or so ago. Said she'd like to try to have a friendly conversation with somebody very conservative. So I volunteered, and a couple days back we met at the library in Camdenton,
Awesome.
where it'd be nice and safe and quiet. And we thought what might be a 30-minute conversation ran close to 3 hours.
Oh yeah, I've done that many times. It's great.
And we exchanged all kinds of views on various things, and we found that there were most of them we agreed upon.
Exactly.
I learned some things from her, and she learned some things from me, and we've parted as friends. And she's doing some editing on some of the stories I've written, and I'm commenting on some of the things she has written. She's a brilliant writer. And I just wanted to let you know, you probably
Yes.
know who I am.
I do.
And I'm on KRMS all the time. And, I'm quite conservative, but we got along famously.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
we call each other friends now.
I've had many conversations with Republicans, 3 hours as well. And I was just telling the folks here, it's amazing that when you're just talking about policies, and this is why I kind of got excited about learning more about policies, because when you just talk about the basics of the policies, man, we agree on so much. And then I start getting curious, and this is where my critical thinking kind of kicked in. I'm like, who benefits from keeping us angry and apart? Who benefits from that? I mean, that's beyond my pay grade, but it just seems kind of interesting to ask that question because we agree on so many things. So I don't know. I totally am with you, and I think more people should do that. And I'm so glad you called and told us that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Herb.
there's they put us into a jar and we're getting along famously, and then they start shaking the jar, and we get angry with one another because they tell us we should hate. And hate is the ugliest of all human emotions.
You are so
Yes,
right.
But it's easy. It's easier to hate than to reach out to each other and communicate.
It's funny. I actually married a. Go ahead.
I was taught back in the 50s and 60s by a Jewish Polish woman who survived Auschwitz to take hate out of my vocabulary because it will eat you up from the inside.
Mm-hmm. It does. I agree.
Yeah.
I think this is what we need. We need to be coming together because it's so important that we, understand how things work and we understand what other people are thinking. And I don't know. I'm so glad that you did that. That's so brave too. Can I just tell you how brave that is to go and for both of you to go and be vulnerable like that and to have those conversations? I mean, really, kudos.
I'm going to kind of bring us back to the topic of artificial intelligence, in that in 2018, hundreds of people all sent an open letter about regulating AI. They all worked together, and they were not people that you would generally think of as working together. And you, Stephanie, you probably remember who some of those were, but one of them was Musk, wanting regulation on AI because of the potential dangers of it. And, we might have been talking about Pope Leo recently, but Pope Francis in the past called for all nations to create and adopt a binding international treaty that regulates artificial intelligence. And it's kind of like, we, the people, really do see the need to work together to not just regulate AI, but to understand it and to use it for the benefit of humanity and not let it be used against us. And that there are massive amounts of people who actually believe in that and finding that opportunity to sit down and discuss not just AI, but all subjects, that we can communicate on better. Some of the things about AI that were seen as really strong drawbacks included the potential for war because we might not have human inclusion in the decision making, that it would cause political instability. And
well, it's doing that right now. And I don't know if you guys watch, but Iran has been putting out these Lego videos. Have you guys seen this?
Yes.
So first of all, I don't know. I think
They're very good at that.
they're very good at that. And then we've, so what I'm worried about is what I'm seeing happening, and this is just my own opinion, but what my concern is how they are drawing in these videos, like everybody, especially like every diverse group of America, and saying Trump and like did this, right? And I feel and I fear that it's going to turn our own against America. The music that they're using, the rock or the rap and all this other stuff, it's very intoxicating. And these are the kinds of things that, we have to teach, especially young people, but all people, to protect our mind. I mean, our brain is the most powerful AI or computer,
and it is
right?
abstract reasoning.
Right. And it's very, I mean, if you're just sitting there watching stuff all day long, it affects how you think of things. And they are very, very good at it.
And I mean this, and you guys always have catchy little songs at protest. I mean, there is a thing of winning the hearts and minds of the people, of explaining this is why we're doing this.
Yes.
And people say, well, I don't govern by polls. I don't govern. Well, I don't know if that's very smart, because right now it would show you what the people think of the decisions that you're making. And sometimes it's a lack of understanding. Most public speakers work the room, feel the room, and look at the reflection of people that they're talking to and say, they don't get it yet. I have to do a better job of diving in and explaining why we are doing these things.
There's been a lack of that kind of give and take and communication. It's kind of like the war in Iran. I don't think many of us realize or think about why Trump pursued this action on his own after alienating all of our allies. And you all out there may disagree with me, but, that's a strong feeling that I have, is that he has not read the room being the world, that he took unilateral action without getting people on his side to support his decision.
I think,
all presidents, all sides have said Iran is a dangerous place.
Well, yes.
Well, I don't think
Barack Obama basically tried to go the negotiation route, tried money on pallets and giving them, funding those things. We have went a different route. This president is going to do a little bit or better job of explaining why it goes. I think the world is a better place if there is a change in government in the country of Iran.
So I think there's two things about this war, and if Democrats maybe stopped talking so much about being against it or being against, like going into Iran, and think more about maybe it's that we just don't trust Trump to be the one to do it. It's not that maybe we disagree with the actions. We don't maybe trust that his intentions.
And he doesn't trust you.
I know he doesn't trust.
He doesn't trust
I don't
you.
think he cares. I don't think he cares about us at all. But I don't think I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm not sitting here saying that that's either. I'm just sharing a feeling that I think is emanating from a lot of people.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Right. And again, I'm not here to say that I'm right and somebody's wrong, because I really don't know. I can honestly say I'm not sure.
That is one of the reasons why the president, I believe, does not talk to Congress that much, because this is the world of leaks. Mm-hmm. This is the world of sound bites. I have Chuck Schumer yesterday talking before the Senate, 3 minutes and 37 seconds of him basically blasting the president, saying everything that the president has done is wrong. It's what's the first step? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you, from this side of the fence, continuing, nothing he does is right. Probably the elected official with the most sense right now is John Fetterman. I never thought I would say that.
Well,
and he is going to take a shellacking in his home district.
Well, absolutely.
He will run as an independent.
Because he's not saying anything important. Because the reality is all the president has to do, or any president, is just explain to the American people why this is in our best interest. And my question to all people, for or against Trump, is why do we make him the most important person in the room? When are we going to start making ourselves the most important people in the room? When I talk to Republicans, I can tell you that to me, it feels like they are emotionally tied to him being persecuted. And I always ask myself, why do I need to know about his problems? I don't understand Everybody has problems. When is he going to care about my problems? He is an elected official. His job
I
is,
agree on that.
and that's only my thing. I think it's like we are getting further and further away from our elected officials who work for us, okay? And we are becoming fanboys and, girls who are like, oh my God, they're celebrities. It's like we've got this whole MAGA world, like, instead of Hollywood, we've got MAGA wood. And it's like, stop looking at this as celebrities. It should be boring.
His critics, his enemies thought that they could get him and do all, because Nancy, we say that. Those are the comments that are made when we make points. We all go back to junior high when we're in debate. We make the point. January 6th comment, those comments out there. And that's okay. That's okay. But personally on Donald Trump, we thought, your side thought, his enemies thought they could tag him, they could prosecute him in all these areas. Some of them pretty weak. And they say, oh, he's 34 felons and da-da-da-da-da, and it's been convicted of 30-something felonies, and it backfired on him. And he was elected president again.
I think people think that the Democrats are the enemies of Donald Trump or the enemies of the Republicans. And I think it's more nuanced than that. I think we just really want to not think about politics anymore. And
that's why he's pissed off at you.
Well, it's not really his job to be pissed off. It's his job to go to work like a big boy and do the job. People were pissed off at Biden too, and they're pissed off at all the other presidents. There's not a single Republican or Democrat president that, caused this much anxiety and chaos. And that is his job is to create calm for the American people. And I'm talking for Republicans and Democrats, not one side. His job is to make sure that we can have jobs, that we have, he works with agriculture to make sure that, food's coming out safely. And he's just making sure that we can, the basic stuff, right? And why are we going to war with all these countries? I want to know that you can handle small stuff, like the tenants, right, in the Bible. Just, can you handle the small stuff first? And then if you can handle the small stuff, then go do your big stuff. But you're doing your big stuff and not even caring about us. And I don't understand that concept.
You have to juggle several things.
But
he's
not.
Time.
He's not juggling it. He's making. We're anxious and we're scared and we're angry at each other. And that is not. And people can do the whataboutism. Well, what about Biden? I don't care. If Biden did that, then that's bad too.
I don't care about Biden.
Well, nobody should. Nobody should care about Biden.
I don't. That's one of the things I wish the president wouldn't do.
I mean,
I wouldn't refer back to those
never,
people.
Never
but
refer back
my
to your
point
predecessor.
My point is, why does he not talk to the other side? That's why.
I don't know.
That's
Here's
why
the thing
he does
is that
it. But to go to your next statement on issues that he has to handle several issues. That office has to be able to juggle several things at one time. If Iran would get a nuclear, just my opinion, if they would get a nuclear weapon, they would use it.
They certainly would. Yeah, I believe you're right, but I don't.
They would use it. So
I don't believe that they would have in the
if
past.
we're not alive, oh yeah.
Well,
yeah. You need to read up. You need to read. These people.
My opinion is not based on me not reading. I do read.
That government wants to eliminate Israel and the United States of America.
I can agree.
Well, I don't understand
with
why.
They picked the wrong guy to say, we want to eliminate and kill you.
If he wanted to do
picked
this,
the wrong guy.
Why didn't he go to his people, the EU, and have them help him? That's my question. He could have had people help him, so he didn't do this alone. And I don't know why he didn't rally and use his business acumen to actually get people to support us. So we weren't doing this by ourselves.
I think trying to make nice with everybody has kind of added to some of our problems over the years. That's my 2 cents there. Let's, we got calls everywhere here. Let's see what we got going on. I lost that one because you talk too much, Nancy. Lost that one.
Mum's the word.
Lost all three. I guess that's kind of how it works, David.
Okay, but I do like the idea that Herb had of, when you find that somebody is directly opposed to the way you think, they take offense at what you say, is to find a way to sit down, maybe have a cup of coffee or go to the library and sit down and talk and get to know each other as human beings and develop a relationship. And it sounds like Herb and this person that he met.
No one trusts anybody at this point. Mm-hmm. And that was my example with the president. They went after him, whether you agree or not. That was the strategy, and I can say it without emotion. That was the strategy. Was we're basically gonna tag him with all these felonies, and he won't be able to run. Well, I'll be gotten blank. He did, and he won, and so that's a strategy. I think a lot of things are mistakes. My side makes a lot of mistakes. I agree. I think it was wrong to do the Jesus thing. I think we need to sell the war more. As we were on the break, we believe there was enough material for 11 bombs. I don't want them to have the bomb.
My point when you said that was,
and if I got to send them to the Allah land, I'm okay with that.
Well, and what we are going to see likely, and we can't know the future, but in Gaza, we're going to see that more Hamas has been created by what Netanyahu has done in Gaza. And more Hezbollah has probably been created in southern Lebanon as a result of what Netanyahu did.
The answer to the people that are trying to kill you is not remove them.
No, that's not the answer. I think the answer that I've come up with is that
because I don't want to play by those rules.
Is that I think that there are a lot of really smart people in this world. I think that any president is not solely the smartest person, and I think consensus and building, some kind of coalition to attack these very big problems is more the answer. And what I don't see happening is I don't see any type of consensus. I don't see any relationship building. What I see is destruction and anger and animosity. And I don't think, like our last caller said, that, you solve anything when you start at that point. I just don't think that you can really efficiently work in a way that helps the American people when you start from this, nastiness. And so I think we need to build.
But Netanyahu, I'm sorry to cut you off, Stephanie, but we're short on time here. Netanyahu, the leader of Israel.
Yes.
What did you want him to do the day after October when they came in?
I fully expected them to retaliate, but it's kind of like once they began retaliating, a bloodlust took over, and how many thousands of Palestinians died, many of them women and children. And in the process, you alienate upcoming young men who are going to join Hamas in the future, or an organization similar to Hamas, because you have so.
But they didn't start it, Nancy. They didn't start it.
Well, but at some point, he's got to finish it. Netanyahu has to finish it. He can't keep dragging it on.
I don't think he's got a problem with that.
Well, I think he does because he keeps bombing things. So
yeah, because they rise up.
Yeah, well, he says, but maybe he just likes bombing things. Maybe he's like a 5-year-old and he just likes pushing here and it go boom.
All that works well until the other side doesn't do what you want. I mean, he doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice. And they are a very small nation. They're not going to take anything.
And they're surrounded,
by people that want to kill them. I tell you what, let's do the next segment. Let's go and talk from the other point of view. Why don't we get those people to stop trying to kill us? And then I think we can make some progress then.
Iranians probably feel the same way.
Who?
The Iranians.
You're not going to get me to feel sorry for the government in Iran. That's not going to happen.
I'm not.
It is a better world, whether 11, 9, whatever the number of bombs
I'm not asking you to
that
feel
government
sympathy
being
for
gone
Iran.
is a better thing for the United States, and it's a better thing for the people in Iran.
Can we talk about what you just said? Because I think it's important.
Nope. I got 10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds. Just really quick. You said total annihilation, right? And that's fine. But then be honest with the American people. No, I know. But what I'm saying is be honest with the American people about what we're doing then, if that's what you want. If you want total annihilation, then be honest about it.
We'll see you tomorrow.
And KRMS FM HD3 Osage Beach.